Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of Luthier. This is the game currently on crowdfunding of instrument creation in the Baroque or Classical, I'm not quite sure what period it's from. And as always, we don't take compensation for our crowdfunding coverage, we just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and design discussions, or come and say hi and join the conversation on our Discord. So I'm going to do a partial or full playthrough. We'll see how long the thing takes and then give my impressions at the end. But this is a big, medium to heavyweight Euro. And you're going to be playing through 6 rounds, and you're going to be taking turns planning where your workers are going to go, the people in your family that are repairing instruments and making them and such, on several different worker tracks on the board. And then players are going to take turns picking places to resolve. And the higher valued worker is going to go first, or potentially steal the card you want or that kind of thing. You'll be attracting patrons in the salon who want you to make instruments for them and also do other things. You'll be impressing and keeping those patrons on the leash by performing pieces and repairing instruments. And then you'll get the plan to create an instrument from the guild and finish it and workshop it on your own board. And all those actions will be placing tokens of your color on this orchestra, which has sort of an area control end-of-game victory point thing. There are also end-game victory points from the cupolas, those little things at the top of the board here. Those have different end-game goals you can aim for. Each player also has personal goals, so a lot is going to change game to game. And at the end of 6 rounds, you see who has the highest score and who is the greatest Luthier family of all time. And the game has a pretty smooth solo mode that I'll be showing you, where they'll be placing their workers randomly using this little deck of action cards to determine what spaces they go to. But these cards will be leveling up, and their actions will get stronger and stronger as the game goes along. Now, I've already pretty much completed all of the setup for the game. You get a starting patron. I've got, forgive my pronunciation for these, Jacques de la Guerre, who is a performance-type patron. And she, Elizabeth, yeah, okay, so she wants me to make a piano or percussion type instrument, and then I got to choose an instrument out of 2 cards, and I chose the forte piano because that matches her wants. And I also did that because I got 4 personal goal cards, and one of them is to complete more percussion piano instruments, and one of them is to have, this was a nice little synergy, to have more of those first chairs in the orchestra for percussion and piano instruments. Sorry, it's not percussion and piano, it's percussion and keyboard. Get it together, Mike. I also got to do one of 2 families. I chose Stradivari, and that determines my starting resources. I start with 0 money. That's great. But I do start with an immediate upgrade on the repair skill track. There are 3 of these tracks in the game, and they give you better and better bonuses. So this one's going to let me workshop 2 instruments at once on my board. Although first I'll need to actually get some money and some resources before I can possibly think of doing that. Oh, and speaking of, I do get to get a bonus for my first patron. You'll see that this spot, it's kind of hard to see in this prototype. I get 4 money. This one gets me 1 of the 3 resources. And the cubes are going to change in the final version to be a bit more different from each other, but the white is animal resources, brown is wood, and kind of the metallic one is metal. And then finally placing her here, this little sort of hat thing gets me an apprentice who can help me get my actions to be more effective, but they're single use. And yeah, I think I'm going to go for the resource. What do I need to workshop my forte piano? I need 1 animal. I'm looking at the one pointing to the left side, but they are already changing this so that it'll go top to bottom, because technically you're doing the little saw icon first and then the painter finishing icon second. So I do need 2 metal. Metal tends to be the most expensive to buy on its own, so I'm going to get 1 of those for her little bonus. And then finally, my Stradivari special power that I do once per game is draw the top 3 instrument cards and may take 1 of them, return others to either the top or the bottom of the deck. I think you do that at the beginning of the game. That's the one thing in the rules that I wasn't quite sure about, whether I do that immediately or whether it's an action I can use later on. So I'm going to do it immediately. And let's see. Okay, so all 3 of these we can see are string instruments, which does not go with my goal, but that's okay. I want one that's kind of easy to make. So we've got the cello, the Baroque guitar. Yeah, I mean, the Baroque guitar, you can see, is worth fewer victory points when you complete it, which makes me think it's probably easier and cheaper, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. And now I do have the ability with my skill track to do both of these with a single action, which usually you can't do, and I'll get to all the actions as we go into them. And these I'm going to put on the bottom because I don't want that many string instruments. But yeah, to do that, I would need 6 wood, 1 animal piece, and 2 metal, which is not happening yet. We'll see where I can find all that wood. I got to get some money going. And as for the solo, I randomly drew the Prague Guild. I'm kind of thematically going against a guild instead of a single family. They got a random patron. They got a random instrument that matches the patron's desire. So here they're Caccini, and they wanted an oboe or something like it, some kind of wind instrument. They also got a little bit of initial pushes on these tracks. And we also compare this number 7 at the bottom to the little number 6 here on my chosen family. And that means that I will be first in the first round. So that's setup completed. But let's look at the goals real quick before we jump in fully, just so you can kind of see the shaping of my strategy. So random goals, and you'll see the yellow places already put here. So we draw a card like this when you're playing 2-player or solo, and it fills in a bunch of the orchestra and fills in some of the awards just to kind of keep things on its toes. And yeah, so here, this public award is for completed instruments from the classical era. That's what this little symbol is, which just happens to be the forte piano. Ha ha ha. And there's a little bit like Arc Nova shared goals, if you know that game, where you can like wait longer to take the action to put your token down, and you get a bonus. You take the award token off of your board and get a little ongoing bonus for doing so. So the faster you do it, the faster you get the award, but the longer you wait, the more victory points you get. So here, if I've done 2 classical instruments, I can get 4, or if I've done 3, I can get 8. This one's for rare instruments. Neither of my instruments currently are rare because they're rare and there aren't that many of them. And the last one is for doing the repair action, not making actual instruments. And this one is for repairing 1, 2, or 3 distinct types of instrument, from the string, the wind, and the percussion and keyboard. So yeah, I think going for an instrument and repair strategy seems to be pretty good here. And that's not going to conflict with my public goals, so I'll probably be taking the perform action less and doing the guild and repair actions more. But let's get to how things actually work and jump into the first round and walk you through it. So the start of the round, first you get any start of round bonuses. The symbol for that is this little like fire you can see down here, because if I've moved this award to one of those public goals, then I'll get a free material every turn. And a lot of patrons, once you complete them, once you've gotten them all the things they want, then you flip them over and some of them will have a start of round bonus as well. But we don't have any of that. Then my patron gets a little impatient, but also sends me stuff. So at the start of every round, you're going to move these little cubes down, and you're going to get whatever is above. So that's a gift that the person is sending you. But if it advances here, they leave, and you lose victory points for every unfulfilled requirement they had. Now, she only has 1 requirement, so I just need to make her that instrument. Every patron needs an instrument made, but some of them need other things which are easier to achieve. These can be fulfilled if you play a piece in the style they like. This one's romantic. Or if you repair an instrument in this type, in this case the percussion keyboard type, or if you make an instrument, although usually that's the least efficient way to do it. So like if I had Chopin, I'd want to make a string instrument, and then I'd want to ideally repair a percussion keyboard instrument or play a romantic piece. If I make a percussion keyboard instrument, again, I'm kind of wasting my actions a bit. But yeah, so her cube's going to advance. I get a apprentice to help me with the planning phase. Next turn, she'll give me inspiration. That's what the little exclamation point is. That's a very generic resource that can be used to make a lot of actions easier. And then she'll leave. So I kind of gotta get the forte piano going this turn, don't I? Blech. And then finally, I can choose to remove or place instruments on my workbench, which is this left area. That's where you're going to do the first part. Once you do the workbench action, they get moved over here, and then you can finish them by paying the currently left cost. Again, all those things are going to switch. So I could actually theoretically finish the forte piano in a single turn if I put 1 worker on the workbench and 1 worker on the finishing bench and just worked through the night to finish that thing. Okay, so now we go to the planning phase, and I'm going to take one of my workers. At the start of the game, I start with a 1, 3, and 5, and place it on one of the action spaces I want to do. I can additionally place an apprentice with it, and that's going to increase its value by 1. So like my 5 will become a 6. Now, why does the value matter? I mentioned already that higher value is going to get priority in resolving the action. But also you get bonuses based on the value of your worker place for each action space. So like here, if I placed the 3 on the workbench, I would get 2 free inspiration. And if I placed a 5, I would get 2 free inspiration and pay 1 less material of my choice for actually doing the workbench action. And all the spaces have those kind of bonuses. All right, so the first action, I think I really want Chopin, because his bonus, if I complete him, is to make it cheaper to make instruments, and I kind of want to do a like repairing instrument making strategy here. And his rewards each round as he gets impatient are going to be more materials, which we know we need. And the one instrument he definitely wants is a string instrument, which I have ready to go. Now, I can see how likely the AI is to take him. He's from the Romantic era, and that is the rightmost era on the AI's card, which means there are other priorities that might supersede that, but most likely they're not going to care about getting him. Now, also an important thing is not every card is created equally. So Chopin has a 1-tier Roman numeral here at the top. He's free to get if I go take this action. Paganini, I would need to pay 4 money and or inspiration in any combination. Mozart, I have to pay 8 money and or inspiration. And then finally, this 10 that you'll see means that you can go through the deck and pick whatever card you want, like get the exact thing you need for your combo. But you got to pay 10, and you need to have sent an apprentice, and that apprentice is removed from the game, so you can never get them again. So that is a nuclear option if you like absolutely need a specific patron or a specific instrument to finish something you're going for. Now, every space also has an alternate action if, like, the card you wanted is gone or somebody goes before you in some way. So for this one, I would get a free apprentice and some inspiration. And if I place a 4 or more, I get to move one of my patrons' tokens back to give me more time to finish their stuff. And I get to pick a reward or get the reward where the token moves to. So I might want to do that, because I am kind of worried that I'm not going to finish the forte piano before she gets angry at me. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to send my 3 with the apprentice to make it a 4, and that will get me the extra time I need. And I put those tokens face down, technically, although there's no other player to know what number I put down. And because mine was placed there first, I do break ties when the numbers are even, so they would have to place a 5 to beat me there, and that's impossible. I can show you how theirs work in a second. So instead of having a 1, 3, and 5, they have just a 1, 2, and 3. Both of us are going to get more workers as the game goes along, by the way. But their value is going to be influenced by where this little token is. Remember, it moved at the beginning. It'll move more based on the action cards they draw. So right now, they would have +1 on the Salon action. So if they sent their 3 there with a +1, that would be a 4 tying me. And then I would win because I was there first, which is what I want. But we're going to shuffle these up so we don't know which one. And then for each of the AI's planning turns, because we go back and forth, we're going to flip, and they're just doing their workshop. So we take the topmost one, we don't look at the number yet, and we put it there. Basically, they're going to finish their oboe and make Caccini happy. And they don't have resources, they don't have money. It's all very straightforward to track what they're doing. And that's for my next action. If I have Chopin come in, I really want to get materials. What do I need again? 5 more wood and 1 more metal. It's really all about wood and metal. Now, I can once per turn go to the market. I instead of resolving one of the action spaces, I move my horse and buggy over here, and then I get to buy and sell resources based on the current price. It's always 2, 3, 5 at the start, but then you switch this to a new card. I can also buy more apprentices. If I have inspiration, it costs less money. I can also buy skill upgrades. But yeah, I have literally 0 cash right now, which is horrifically bad. So I think since the thing I need most is wood, what I might do is go to the repair action, because the alternate for that is to get wood. So yeah, let's go ahead and send, I wouldn't mind actually raising up my skill level. So as silly as it is, I think I'm going to send my 5 there, and that'll be my second one. Okay, and what are they doing? They are doing a repair as well, so we'll put their token there. And then, as silly as it might be, I think I'm just going to repair again. I might actually do a repair, although that would take the same exact resources that I need to make my instruments. We'll see. And the AI's last one for this round, although again in later rounds, round 3 they'll have 4 workers, round 5 they'll have 5. They're going to play a musical piece at the perform space. So cool, I get to show you most of the main actions this round. Okay, so now we go to resolution. I get to pick which one is resolved first. And that choice can be pretty dang important because every action at a space is resolved. So like if my enemy chose repair before I had a chance to go to the market and get the resources I needed to complete the repair I was going to do, that'd be pretty bad. Here, I don't think it really matters very much, honestly. So let's just do a simple one. I'm doing the Salon. So I've got a value of 4. And I can choose to either gain a patron or get an apprentice and 2 inspiration. I'm going to gain Chopin as we planned, and these do not slide down until the end of the round. So importantly, Paganini and Mozart would still be extra expensive if somebody else was going here. And because I went to the 4+, I get to move one of my patron's tracks back and then gain the reward. So I'll move Elizabeth back. And if you go all the way to the leftmost space, you get to pick either reward. Here, do I want the apprentice or do I want the inspiration? The inspiration can make it cheaper for me to do things like repairs. So yeah, you know what? I think I might actually get the inspiration. Okay. Here, we'll put this over here. Technically, you can have infinite inspiration while you can only have up to 9 resources unless you get one of your reward spaces filled. And Chopin, I think we need, well, should I? You know what? Actually, let's Let's not get the inspiration now that I'm looking at it. Let's get another apprentice for next round from Elizabeth. And then for Chopin, we'll put him on the 4 money space and finally have a little spending money to do something with. Again, I can take my worker back. They are done. Oh, and the apprentice goes away. I don't get to use them again unless I gain them. Now, what does the AI resolve first? So for this one, you need to look at their tracks, and you are reordering these cards so that the rightmost track is first and breaking ties by being closer to the top. So here, performance and repair both have 1, but performance is higher, and workshop always goes to the back. So here, they're going to perform first, then repair, and then workshop. So they're going to resolve their performance. Let's see how this works. So for performance, you pick one of the cards, and for a player, you're rolling dice and counting how many feet are in the notes. So that would be 3. You add the value of your worker. So here that would be 5 if I had rolled that. You can spend inspiration to get more. And then based on your total, you'll get more and more rewards. And the big thing is if you get to the middle or higher level that has this little music note in a circle, that lets you place one of your little musical tokens in the orchestra. It has to be in the era of the music you played. So here they would have to pick one of these spots for classical. And then you get the first chair bonus, the bottom thing depicted, unless someone's already there and has first chair. And how that works is instruments always keep first chair. See, once an instrument is there, you can never beat them. You can still go there, but you can never do anything about it. Whereas repairs, the square ones, and performances, the circle ones, if you go there, you do still have first chair, but anybody placing their instrument there immediately beats you. Otherwise, somebody has to have more repairs and performances than you. So, if they went to natural horn, yellow would still be winning. They would still have first chair. But then if they went there again with another performance or a repair, suddenly they've got 2 to 1, and boop, yellow would go down. So that's the basic idea of performances. Let's see, first of all, which one they want to do. So their first priority is a patron's secondary requirement. They only have 1 patron, and they don't have any secondary requirements. They just want them to make their wind instrument. So next is of the air that's highest on the solo family card. And they like classical. Remember, romantic was their lowest. That's why I wasn't worried about Chopin being stolen. So they're going to do this one. And they don't actually roll for it. Instead, based on the skill cards, so this is a tier 1. They start with all tier 1 performance card. They have 7 to start out. They add the power of the worker, so that gets it to 9. And then they add the strength of the track, which is 1. That gets them to 10. And 10 is great because 10 just gets them money, and they don't care about money. All they really care about are the victory points, these little award-like laurels, and placing their thing on the orchestra. So this gets them nothing. It just gets discarded. Heck yeah, I love wasted actions. And you move their worker over here just to remind you that they have resolved that action. Okay, for my choice, I think we'll go to resolve repair. So I've got a 5. They've got a 1 plus 1 from their repair track, so that's a 2, and then I've got a 1. So they're going to be resolved in this order. They do have this fancy thing here. They have lots of cool fancy pieces to technically order the pieces, but I don't really need that. Now I know because they're doing a level 1 repair that they can only do one that is worth 2 victory points. So if I steal that from them, and that's also going to get me a first chair for percussion keyboard, and that would be something that Chopin wants. So maybe I'll hold off on building my instruments for even another round, and I think I will go ahead and do this one. So I can either complete a repair or get 2 wood. We're not doing the wood yet, and I'm going to spend 1 animal, 1 metal. Those were both my only resources of that type. Oh wait, crap, that also costs 4 money, which is all I've got. I could do this one instead, but then I wouldn't skunk the AI. Man. And 2 victory points is nothing to sneeze at. The game, I'm not very good at it, but yeah, the scores are not crazy high, so 2 victory points is somewhat significant. And it's also stopping them from getting a first chair. So yeah, crud. I will go and spend all the money I got for my patron to go ahead and complete this. So I get to place one of my tokens, and I just realized that this is not the best thing I could have done. Because look, the forte piano is the only one in the percussion keyboard row, because repairs go into rows, whereas performances go into columns, and instruments go in the exact spot indicated. Only violin has 2. So yeah, if I go here, I'll get first chair and gain a free animal resource and an apprentice, but I'm making a forte piano, which means I would be undoing my own success and kind of wasting it. So I guess I'll go harpsichord, and I'm not getting the first chair yet, but if I get another token here by playing a Baroque piece, that's the green one, or if I repair another percussion keyboard, I can steal from them. So when you go here and don't get first chair, you instead get this little consolation prize, either 2 money or an inspiration. I'll get the 2 money. And I get 2 victory points. I'm not showing you the victory point tracker because it's always at the top of the board, but hey, it's a victory point tracker. And then finally, if it matches somebody's secondary requirement, which is the bottom ones that have the little repair and performance thing, which it does for Chopin, I can flip it over and put it underneath. And now he is halfway to being satisfied. And if this was further to the right, it would go all the way to the left. He would reset. I don't gain any bonus. He doesn't give me another reward when I do that. But yeah, here it's not doing anything for me. So I do have 2 rounds to complete both of these unless I push them back more. So yeah, I got to get some resource generation going to get these completed. Oh my gosh. And now they try to complete an instrument, but here's what I was saying. At tier 1, you'll see it has the 2 victory point 1 circled and the rest crossed out. So they don't get to build an instrument at all because the only one they have available is a 3 victory point. Once they get to tier 2 and tier 3 action cards, though, they're going to be able to like dig through the deck and find the exact one they want. Okay, now I finally do my number 1. I ain't repairing again. I'm getting 2 wood. And that's all my actions. So they're finally going to do their workshop and completing. And unlike me, when they take this action, they just fully complete an instrument. They don't need kind of the double action thing that I do. So they get 5 victory points and get to place their instrument token on the oboe track. And they don't get any bonuses like the money and stuff. This is just for the area control at the end of the game. And again, once an instrument token is there, even if I built an oboe, I could not supersede them. They will have first chair no matter what for that space. And then Caccini gets their instrument, and oh, they are complete. All of their goals are fulfilled. So if it was me, I would get 3 victory points and move on the reputation track, which, like the repair track, is going to give me better and better bonuses. But the AI never does that. Oh, dude. Speaking of, I put a 5 here, which means I get to go up. So now every single worker I put on the workshop or finishing to actually make instruments is going to count as if they had 1 higher value to get those bonuses. And this next one is awesome. You get to look at, let me grab these. This deck of randomly selected cards, you have 1 more than the number of players, and there are a whole bunch of them. There we go, that's for repair. And I would get to upgrade one of my workers to have like a cool bonus every turn once I get there. Yeah, and then if it was me, she would get flipped over, and I would get this bonus for the rest of the game, in this case, automatically getting 2 more notes whenever I do a performance. But for the AI, they don't care about any of that. They just get the 3 victory points, and the person is gone. Now, just to briefly show you the only actions we didn't take, nobody went to the balcony. That lets you get rewards. So, like, once you have one of these completed, actually, I do. I have repaired at least 1 different type of instrument, so I could go here next turn just to get a really early reward. I might want to do that. And if you do at least a 4, you get to move along the track. But also, the highest value here gets to switch turn order, or if you're the only one who goes there. But since nobody went, I will still be first next turn. And then the guild lets you take instruments, that's pretty obvious, or lets you get metal. Oh, and whoops, I forgot to go to the market. I could sell resources or buy them. I could take a chance and buy an animal for the 2 money I have, hoping it becomes a 3, but it could also become a 1. These are the ranges of prices. I could similarly like sell some of my wood for 3 and then hope that it's cheaper next round. I'm not going to play any of those games. I'm just going to skip going to the market this round. Okay, we're about to go to the end of the round phase, and that's, again, 1/6 of the game. And sorry, this first round took longer as I was explaining things. This is the discard pile, by the way, not something the AI owns. But first, I'm going to change up their priorities and level up their cards. So first, we look at these leftmost spots, and this is going to change their current priorities. So because they played a performance goes down. They don't want to do that as much anymore. Same thing for repair. And then here, because they did their workshop action, they want to get an instrument more. So instrument's going to go up. Then I do the next one. So instrument goes up again, and getting a patron goes up, and nothing for this one. And then finally, I look at the values for leveling up their cards. So did they have a 2+ for each of these? Yes for performance, and yes for workshop. So I go to the tier 2 versions of these cards, which are better, and I swap those in and take these out forever. And then I shuffle all 6 of them together. So they've got 2 stronger actions. That's going to keep on going throughout the game. And I also shuffle up their workers for next turn's planning. And we're good to go to the end of the round. And big things are the market price changes. Ooh, animal is cheap now. Wood. Oh, and actually metal is cheap too. Everything is cheap or normal. So it's good that I didn't buy anything last round. This round I could buy a whole bunch of stuff and then maybe make a bunch of money next round by selling it. Then the other major thing that happens at the end of each round is anything that's in the tier 1 spot gets discarded, and then you fill in and add new things. So none of that happened here. But for instruments, that violin is gone. And actually this repair is gone too, because that was in the tier 1 spot. And we're going to round 2. After round 2, we'll get our level 2 worker. The AI will get their level 4 worker. And after round 4, we'll get our level 4 worker, and they'll get their level 5 one. All right, and we go to the new round. I get a wood from Chopin. Thank you. Another apprentice from Elizabeth. So I got 2 of them now. Nice. Okay, and the first major thing I want to do is get an award. I want to get my trophy over here on the one that's going to give me a free resource every turn for the rest of the game. That will definitely help me finish these instruments a little bit better. Then I think I might also want to go to repair to get some wood, because, yeah, I still need 2 more wood. Yikes. Then maybe the guild to get some metal. The guild bonus, by the way, if you go to a 4+, you get a free resource of your choice, which is awesome because I could get a metal and something else. And then also, if you took an instrument, which I would not be doing, then you can put it straight to your workbench. Usually there's a 1-turn delay or 1-round delay. You get the instrument into your hand, and then at the start of the round, you can put it down on your workbench. So yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to go for. Balcony, guild, repair. Balcony, I don't really care about leveling up. I want to do like a 4+ on these ones. So let's I mean, I don't really care which action it is, do I? So let's do the 5 on repair. AI is going to repair as well. Interesting. Then let's do the 3 with an apprentice on the guild just to get the bonus. AI is going to perform again. Wow, they're really doubling up here, aren't they? And that's one of their leveled up tier 2 cards, so they'll perform better and probably actually get the bonus this time. And then not going to worry about the bonus. I'm going to go to the balcony with my number 1. And they are going to go to the guild and get an instrument, so some doubling up here. And reordering, so guild is at level 2, so they want to do that first. And then perform is above repair, so they'll resolve those first. I honestly don't care very much, so let's go and resolve repair. Okay, so they've got a 3 + 0. I've got a 5, so I'm first. I do go up here, so I will get to add one of those little skill cards, one of my workers, in a second. And I'm going to take 2 wood. Done. Okay, and then for them, this is still a tier 1 repair, so they can only do level 2 repairs. So now I'm going to care what their people... Oh, they don't have any patrons right now. They're just going to do the repair. So they get 2 victory points, and they get to put down a string spot on the orchestra. All right, so string's pretty open. So the first thing they go for is an empty spot. And when there's multiple empty spots, you go based on their preferences. So we know that they like Romantic the least and Baroque the most, so they're going to want one of these. And when it's still tied, you roll for it. So, okay, a blank means they take the left option. So yeah, they're taking the Baroque guitar. Ha, 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 ha. Guess who's going to build a Baroque guitar and kick them out of here? This guy. Heck yeah, that's awesome. That worked out really well. Now, let's see, I think I do get to look at and pick this. So I have 3 options. Again, it's 1 plus the number of players. There are more in the game. So after completing the workbench action, you may also finish 1 instrument. Usual resource cost. Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, because that would make it, yeah, I think that's probably going to be the one. Or Smooth Talker. When used on the finishing location, may give 1 finished instrument to any patron. Oh, you don't even need to worry about their requirements. And the last one is scrap materials. When repairing, reduce the resource requirement by 1. That's really good. But no, I'm going to get Workhorse because I'm worried about finishing these 2 instruments. And now this doesn't matter in solo, but in competitive, now there will only be 2 cards for the next player that was going for it. So like your options dwindle. Okay, we already did the repair, so they're not going to worry about that. So they are going to go to the guild. And I'm there too. I have a 4, and they have a 2 + 2. And, oh, who went there first? I just flipped them. I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm not taking an instrument. But, yeah, whoever went there first would win the tie here. And just to show you again what I'm talking about, it's 2 plus the 2 their cube is on. So usually they would go for an instrument that goes with one of their patrons. But here they don't have one, so it doesn't matter. And then next would be the type they prefer, but they're all string instruments, their middle preference. That doesn't help. So they just go for the cheapest one to like make it harder if I was going to buy one to get it. So they'll get the violin. And there's no patron to assign it to, so it just goes over here to the side. If they get a patron, they will try to get one that wants a violin. But otherwise, if they just finish the violin, they'll just take the points, and that's it. All right, now as for me, I have a 4 with the apprentice. So I get a medal, I get a resource of my choice, and we're not going to do anything with that. And I mean, metal is so much more expensive. And I do need 2 of it, yeah, so I will get another medal for my bonus there. So I've got everything except animal fat. I need to at least workshop these. But then I need to finish them too, which, yeah, I had forgotten. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. But Workhorse should help because now I can do 1 worker here to do both of them and finish 1. And then I can do another. So I'll only have 1 worker next turn. Oh, no, I'll get another worker, so I'll have 2. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Oh, and importantly, by the way, I'm at 8 resources, so if I wasn't about to open up more, I could only hold, there it is, 9 total. Okay, I get to resolve next, and I could do the market or the balcony. Let's go ahead and do the balcony. No bonus for this one. I can resolve a reward, get 6 money, get 2 apprentices. I'm going to do the reward. And the only one I currently can do is this one. Yellow already took the highest, so I'm just missing out if I repaired one more type of instrument on 2 victory points, but whatever. I'm going to get the bonus right away, so that's 0 victory points. But I got to remove one of these. So this one gets you a royal patron who have super huge bonuses. This is like a one-time patron thing. This one gets you a special die you roll when you perform that gives you money and other fun things. And this one lets you hold 12 resources, and at the beginning of every round, that little fire icon, you get a resource of your choice, which heck yes, with me going for like repair and building, that's what I need. Oh, and also, I forgot to say this. I moved my worker down here, and that will remind us that it's going to determine turn order for next turn, although he didn't match me, so it doesn't matter. Okay, next they're going to resolve their performance. And again, they don't have anybody to appease here, so they're just going to go and do the one they prefer more, which is classical. Okay, so this time, because it's a level 2 performance, they are getting +9, and it was a 1 worker, so that's 10. And they have 0 here, so just 10, which is enough to get 2 money, which they don't care about, but placing on the orchestra. That's all they care about. We might get lucky again here. Look, they're going to place on one of the empty ones for classical, which is forte piano or bassoon. I hope they do forte piano. And yep, they do, because their first preference is piano percussion. Let's go. So yeah, I should be able to kick them out of both of those places once I finish my instruments. Awesome. Okay, and I still have my market action. I am going to do it. I'm going to spend both my money to buy animal while it's so cheap. I know I need it. Oh, crud, except I don't have enough room, do I? Crud. Well, I only need 1 animal for the... Okay, yeah, this is going to be so hard to finish these instruments in 1 turn. Okay, I'll just buy 1 and keep the money. Actually, you know what? Let's not get the workhorse. I'm just realizing that I want to have like the resources all at the same time. I'm going to get the one that makes it cheaper to do repairs and just hope I can get the actions right next turn. Okay, so that's the end of round 2. I stay in first. And I have to assign who's going to be my special workers. Right now they get +1 to everything, and eventually they'll get +2 if I keep on going up that skill track. Oh, that's right, but they are the one that I want to go to the repair action. So let's put my 3 there, and I can like send an apprentice when I want to go up on the skill track. And now that stays there forever. And I take this worker that has the skill icon indicated, and now that will be my 3 with, like, special power. That's kind of how you mark it. All right, and the market resets. I am curious if I could have, like, sold wood and then bought it cheaper. No! Oh, this is bad. Those are some of the highest... That's the highest wood price possible, the highest metal price possible, medium for animal. But, oh, it's going to make things tougher. And I'll do this mostly off camera, but we reset everything. By the way, at the end of round 3, so not this round, we're going to discard all of the tier 1 guys. Every other deck is not tiered, but this one is. And that'll get us to the tier 2 patrons who have endgame scoring if you complete them. All right, and yay, we get our level 2 worker, and they get their level 4 worker, because remember, they started with 1, 2, 3. Oh, and sorry, I was supposed to do this at the end of the resolution step, technically. So guild goes down 2, music goes down 2, but it's not, yeah, none of those matter. And then repair goes up 1, patron goes to 3. If it gets to 4, they get a free action, and then it resets. So ideally, we don't want that to happen. Oh, but it's happening anyway, because look, that also is pushing patron up. So they immediately get a patron. Now, it's just automatically the top patron from the deck. They got Madame de Pompadour, and she wants a string, so we can just move the violin over, because now that's going to complete her main objective there. That was pretty lucky for him. And again, that zeroed out. Okay, and then guild is leveling up, and so is repair, but the tier 2 performance would need to have a 3+ to level up. And I should have said before, these values only care about the actual chip, not about any pluses or minuses from this stuff. All right, so there we go, and there we go. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I did have more room for stuff. I forgot to upgrade it. So let's say that I did buy that animal token last turn, because now I'm going into the next round. I get a free animal. Oh, geez, I am actually just about out of space, though, aren't I? And she gives me 2 inspiration, which for one thing can be used to lower the cost of buying ingredients. And then because of this, I get a free resource of my choice. Well, that's got to be a metal, because it costs 6 this round, and I need it. And I'm definitely good to do the double workbench. It's 3 wood, 6 wood, 2 metal, 1 fat. So actually everything in here takes care of the workbench. And if I go to a 5+, I could make it cost 1 less of something. And then I need 4 animal, I've got 2, 3 wood, I've got 0, and 1 metal I've got. So I would need 2 more animal and 3 more wood, barring discounts from taking the actions at a better level. This 6-1, by the way, when you finish it, means wherever you get placed, you double the first chair bonus, which is pretty dang good. All right, so I am first, and hey, look at this. I think I got to do it. I need to get this up here. So I need to do a 4 because otherwise I can't finish both my things with one worker. So I'm going to send my 3, and sorry, not my 3. He's a specialist now. I'm going to send that guy with that. So that'll be a 4, and that'll let me level up to where I can finish. So I need to put one worker on a workbench and one worker on finishing and hope to God that I survive. And then I think instead of getting the 2 wood, look at this. Remember, he gets a 1 resource discount, so he can complete this one for free, get me 2 victory points, get into the orchestra, and get me, I think I'll do this one, 1 wood and 2 money. So it's a little bit worse than 2 wood for me, but it gets me way more victory points. I'll have to decide in the moment. Either way, I'm sending the guy there. As for the AI, they are going, they're just doing their workbench and finishing their violin. Okay, now as for me, God. So animals cost 2, but I can reduce that to 0 with this. If I got another medal, if I can get a medal, I can sell it for 6 and use that to buy a whole bunch of stuff. So maybe I go to the guild for a free medal. Well, here's the big thing. I think I gotta do the 2 here, because with my +1 bonus from the repair track, I'm going to get 2 more inspiration, because that'll be a 3, and that'll let me buy more resources at a discount, which I think I'm going to need. So yeah, let's do that. Then I'm thinking maybe I put the 5 over here. I'm not sure yet. It's going to be a crazy turn, y'all. What are they doing? They just love playing songs. They're going on to performance. I'm not doing that at all. And now, okay, what do I do? I mean, putting the 5 here would be -1 resource. Yeah, I think I got to do that. And then I'll put the 1, I think, over to get a medal that I'll then sell is the idea. All right, they're third. Remember, they're doing 4 now. They're going to the balcony. I'll show you how their balcony works. They basically just claim rewards. It's pretty straightforward. Well, except not with the tier 1s. They're not going to do much of anything with it this time. And then, yep, I'm just getting medal, really, because I want the 6 money. I think that's the best I can do. I guess I could just go to the balcony and get 6 money and cut out the middleman, couldn't I? Because then I wouldn't need to worry about doing the guild and then doing the market. So yeah, okay, let's go to the balcony. Why not? Okay, so I'm first to resolve, and absolutely we're going to do the workbench first, because I need to clear out some space so I can get more resources. So okay, so I get 2, remember I get a +1 from the skill track, and I can do both instruments at the same time. So I'm doing 3 wood, 3 more wood, all the wood, 2 metal, and an animal. Oh my gosh, am I ever going to be able to finish these things? I mean, even if Chopin and Elizabeth leave, I guess that I'll still have done it. What am I short? 2 animal and 3 wood. Gosh. But I have to pay 1 less, and wood is more expensive. So it's really 2 animal and 2 wood, and I'm good. Oh, wait a second. I never did their friggin' last worker. They're getting a patron. Okay. So now let's reorder these. Sorry. So repair be first, but they're not doing it. So it's just the regular top to bottom order. So like that, like that, like that. Okay. So they are doing their patron action first. And they have no instruments to currently fulfill. So they just want to go for their favorite era and then closest. So they're just going to get Mozart. And important to note, you might see that they only have 2 spots, and this says max 2 times. That means that if they already had 2 patrons, instead of doing this action, they would just do another workshop action. And if they didn't have any instruments to build, they basically just get a free instrument from the deck. So they're always just going to create tons of instruments and fill out the orchestra if they don't have anything else to do. All right, next is me. Let's go ahead and do the repair. So I've got the 3 with -1 resource cost. Or sorry, the 4. Which means I go up here and I can do a double finish, which clearly I need to do to complete my instruments. Now, let me look at this this resource thing again, because I would love to do the clarinet first chair and get the 1 wood instead of the 2 and the money, but will it be enough? So that's 1 wood and 2 money. Balcony's going to get me 6 more money. That's 1 wood and 8 money. And I need, what was it? I'm ignoring 1 wood. I have the metal. I have half the animal. So I need 2 more wood. So 1 wood and 8 money. I need to spend 4 at the market to buy wood. And then I still need 2 more animal, which costs 4 at the market. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. I totally forgot that this is in the 4 spot. And would not, I guess I could spend all of my inspiration to get that. Do I need this, though, to get resources? I don't think I do, right, from the calculation I just did? Because this can make things cost less, but I think I'm okay. I mean, this might be a little bit overkill, but it is getting me a lot of victory points, potentially. So yeah, let's go and do it. Okay, so I'm going to spend this to take this. My scrap materials make it cost 0 material whatsoever. I get 2 victory points in a placement, and it was a wind instrument, so I'm going to go on clarinet, get 2 money and a wood. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Okay, next they're going to play a piece with +9. And yeah, I mean, they definitely have a billion people who want things. So she wants Baroque and he wants Classical. Only Baroque is in the pile, although if neither of those were in the pile, since it's a level 2, they would have gone searching through the deck for one. So they're going to play a classical piece for Mozart, and they're definitely going to get it. Let's see. Their worker is a 4 plus 9 for level 2, so that is 13 plus 0 here. But yeah, so they easily get it. They get 1 victory. Oh, actually 13. They get 3 victory points. Wow. Maybe I should be performing, y'all. And they get to place in the orchestra. And then this goes under Mozart, although they will still need to make him a wind instrument at some point. All right, and the only Baroque open is bassoon. Okay. So in terms of first chairs right now, they have 4 and I have 1, but that's about to change drastically when I finish these instruments, if I calculated correctly. Okay, next I'm going to resolve the balcony. I have a 1 and they have a 1. Dang it. No, they definitely went before me, so they will get first place next turn. So they actually don't get a reward because it's a tier 1, and I'm going to get 6 money. Yeah, to show you, I had to kind of write this in a little bit. They're going to move their award track farther, but yeah, at tier 1, they don't get anything. At tier 2, they would take the lowest level of an award available, and they go in this order. So first they'll do left award, then right, and then middle. And at tier 3, they get the highest level available. And once they've got all 3 of their awards placed, they just start doing more of these and getting more instruments. And there we go, to mark they've done it. I leave one of their specialist tokens, kind of like my one, on the spot for turn order. And hey, here's where we see if my calculations were correct. I've got 8, and I need 1 wood and 2 animal. 4, 6, 8. Heck yeah. I mean, I'm totally broke again, but I didn't fail to build the instruments in a second. Right? 4 animal, yes. 2 wood plus the 1 discount. Yes. 1. Yeah, baby, let's go. It's going to be a lot of victory points, y'all. Okay, and finally, very straightforward. They are going to finish their violin, put it under Pompadour. Oh, I guess them 2 victory points, and they place on violin. And she needs us 2 more things. And violin, remember, has 2 spots. It's the only one in the orchestra. So they're going to kick yellow out and take the unassailable first chair because, again, instrument always beats, and you can never beat an instrument that's already there. So even if I built a violin at this point, I would not be able to kick either of them out. Okay, and finally, the big action of the video. We can finish twice because of our skill level. Even though we got here this turn, it still applies this turn. And because it's a 5 plus 1 from my skill on the track 6, I'm going to get to pay 1 less resource of my choice and double my chair bonuses. I'm assuming it's only for 1 if I double finished, because this one's only for 1. So I think, yeah, I only get to double 1 of the chair bonuses. All right, so forte piano, 2 animal, 2 wood, 1 metal, Baroque guitar, 2 animal, and ignoring the 1 wood. So that's getting me 13 victory points. And it is finishing both Chopin and Elizabeth. Let's do the chair things first before I do all that. So Baroque guitar, boop, is going to get me 2 inspiration. Definitely not going to double that. That's pretty weak. And then forte piano, boop, is going to get me 1 animal and 1 apprentice. So I'll double that one and get 2 animals and 2 apprentices. That's definitely better. So now, how's the count changed? 1, 2, 3 first chair versus 3. And I'm about to steal that one, which would make it 4. We ain't done yet. I complete Chopin. So that's going to get me a reputation increase in 5. And she's going to get me 4 more. So that's 9 and 2 reputation increases. Which gets me another apprentice. Wow, I think it's all of them. And then I get to draw 3 instruments and keep 1. And, it's not even it's a rare piano percussion instrument. I'm going to get the pipe organ, because remember, anything keyboard percussion goes with my personal goals. And this does not go on my workbench yet, although not that I would have any actions right now to do it anyway. And finally, I get to slot them in as permanent patrons. So Chopin is going to make it cost 1 less resource every time I do my workbench. And Jacques de la Guerre, if I suddenly decide to do performances, she'll give me, oh, that's better than I thought. Wait a second. Oh, yeah, I thought it was +2 notes, which is what it usually is, but she actually gives me +2 victory points every time I successfully do a performance. That makes it maybe seem worthwhile. And wow, that was a crazy round. They're just about halfway to getting each of their people. Let's see how their stuff goes. So a whole lot of backwards. This one, the balcony goes up 1, and that goes up 1. Nothing goes down, and then music goes up, and patron goes up, and music goes up, and guild goes up, and then what's leveling up? Okay, they're going to get to level 2 for the salon, and they're going to get to level 3 for performance. That's not surprising. They've been hammering that one pretty hard. There we go. Now they have a base 11 level. And then, wow, they're still not going to increase for balcony, and they are going to increase to level 3 for their workshop, which means now every time they do it, they also will move this track up, which is just extra victory points for them. And yeah, I'm going to stop the video there. I like to keep these short and sweet, so I'm not going to play out the last 3 rounds, but I think you kind of get the idea of how the game goes. I'm actually at 26 victory points, and they're at 15. We are tied for first chairs. I have 2 patrons boosting me, although one of them doesn't really help that much. So I'm feeling pretty good. And also, let's see, I've got 1 first chair for piano percussion, but if I overtake yellow in that one place, that'll get me a second one. And I've got only 1 of those, but if I complete the pipe organ, that'll get me a second one. So that gets me to 8 victory points for each. If I can do it again, that'd be 15. So that's a pretty solid place halfway through the game. But let's get to what I think about Luthier. I think this game is great. I really love Dave Beck's previous game, Distilled, and this has a little bit of that energy. Now, it's definitely a heavier game, but first of all, it has that attention to like a craft that I think is really excellent. I mean, I guess Distilled had maybe a bit more detail in like how the stuff was actually being distilled, whereas here you just spend points, resources, and boom, you got a pipe organ. But yeah, I think the focus on like the themes he's doing is great. But what I like most, comparing it to Distilled, is that it really is a kind of investment and commitment to finish off these patrons, to complete your instruments. Like you saw, it took me 3 friggin' rounds. Of course, somebody else might have been able to do it faster. Oh, these are reset, by the way. It took me 3 rounds to complete my patrons, to get my instruments finally completed. But then I burst ahead. Huge things happened. Reminds me of Distilled and how like you can have these huge turns where you keep the spirit, I forget what it's called. What's the aging? Where you keep the spirit aging for round after round and then like get a ton of points. So there's not a game where you're like finishing something cool every single turn, although you kind of can be. Like if you're focusing on performances and stuff, you can get a lot of victory points or repairs and kind of keep things churning. But instruments are the creme de la creme. They are the one you really want to focus on because they just kick things out. Get out of here, you guys. They are the one that will seize control. And yeah, there is a lot going on in the game, but really it's not that heavy. Like this is the only 3rd time I played it, and I feel like at this point I didn't have to reference the rulebook really at all. So again, I would call this a medium weight Euro. It might seem like a lot. The board is very large. There's a lot of places. And, the orchestra seems confusing at first. But really, it tends to flow pretty well. And I do feel like you can focus on different things. So the last game I did, I was very much a performance master. This game, I'm really good at repairs. And I also want to give the solo credit. I really love this leveling up system of their cards where like they're kind of doing cooler and cooler things. So many solo modes just have the AI kind of be the same strength the entire time, and then you're the only one leveling up, but here that's not the case. It's somewhat intelligent. You can predict a lot of what they're most likely to grab, although the order of resolution might kind of change things up. So you can, you saw like you can kind of block them, like I skunked them out of not being able to get that one repair the first round. If you really want a patron, you can see how valuable you might want to go. This like little placement of tokens is never going to be as interesting as in competitive, but I think they got it with the predictability, with the bonuses from the actions. Like if you go with the higher number, I think they made it a pretty cool kind of like hidden worker placement system. One of the best I've seen for solo. So long story short, I think this is another triumph from Paverson Games and Dave Beck and his co-designer. I think this is just great. And again, a little bit heavier than Distilled, but I like it a ton. And the solo mode is awesome. Competitive is great. I think it's a winner. Oh, and I didn't say, but the different endgame scoring goals, the different personal goals, the different families you start with, I think the game does go in a lot of directions and give you like different things to focus on each game. It's not that type of Euro where you're going to do the exact same thing every time. So go check out the crowdfunding page. I think it's up for just a little bit longer. And at the end of many of our videos, I'd like to thank our biggest Patreon supporters, the ones who do the most to keep the channel going. They are J. Willie MF, Steve Wren, and Pedro Lucas. Thank you all so much. And everybody else, good gaming, and we'll see you at the next stop.